glad to be here with you. And today I have a very special guest, Judith and Warren. Judith is an American photographer, actress, and model. And this month, she is on the cover of Vogue Singapore magazine. Hi, beautiful. How are you? I'm
Bom dia, linda. It's my new face.
Bom dia, linda. Tudo bem?
Yes.
I'm so glad and so excited to be here with you today. It's a challenge for me because it's my first interview in English, but I couldn't wait to talking to you. For my surprise, I saw you in the cover of Vogue Singapore this month. How was this experience to you?
The experience was a challenge. It was stepping out of my comfort zone. I was contacted by my agent, and she asked me if I would consider doing a nude photo shoot. And I was so taken aback by that. And I said, I don't know. It depends maybe on what it's for. And she said, Vogue Singapore has asked us if you would participate in this body positive story. And I said, Vogue Singapore? And she said, yes. And I said, I don't know. I'm not really, that's not my thing. And I hesitated. And then I said, okay, why not? And then for a couple of weeks after, I thought, what have I done? So, but it was incredible. I can't say that enough. It was an incredible, freeing, empowering experience.
How was the experience for a photographer to be photographed?
You would think it would be easy because I understand a photographer's point of view when looking through their lens. I understand lighting. I understand angles. I understand the importance of your rapport with your subject. So you would think it would be easy to step on the other side, but it wasn't. I felt like I was completely out of my comfort zone when I first started modeling. So this particular shoot, I asked my agent to let me know who the photographer was so I could see their work because I wanted to know the quality of their work. And that was very comforting to me. For this particular shoot, I had never met the other models. I didn't really know who they were. And when I arrived for the shoot and saw them both get out of their cars, I thought, oh my gosh, did they, excuse me, did they miscast me? Did they, because they're both so stunning. And, but then again, I had to wipe away that thinking. And being on top of a mountain, we were on top of a mountain, I had to turn around and totally trust the photographer, which is what I ask people to do when I take their pictures. So I had to relinquish any control that I would normally have being on the other side and just give that person just be authentic and try to be myself in the moment with her. And it was very challenging, but I had those two incredible young women with me, and I thought, this is my opportunity to lead by example for them. And I didn't want to let them down. I wanted them to see me unencumbered by inhibition or fear or lack of self-confidence. So I felt that kick in And it was interesting. It was very interesting. I was on the mountain with those two beautiful young women. I had some really extraordinary moments with them. And one of the most amazing moments was watching the emotion well up in both those young girls at the mere thought of being on a shoot for Vogue. And then seeing them feel so empowered and so confident and so grateful. And I reflected a lot back on when I was their age, and I didn't understand those things, and I didn't feel a lot of those things. And it gave me so much joy to see young women so empowered and so confident and so excited. So really, for me, the Vogue shoot was different from what they were experiencing. For me, it was something I had to do to step out of my comfort zone. I needed to do this for myself. Okay. It wasn't because I was going to have a Vogue cover, but I'm so grateful for that it was through that vehicle. But for them, it was like a dream of a lifetime. For me, it was a challenge to step out of my comfort zone. And yes, the dream of a lifetime being on a Vogue cover just was such an added bonus to that decision. Those two girls, those two young women are stars, and they're brilliant both inside and out. That's really wonderful. They're going to go far.
And how and when did you have the opportunity to become a model? An actress?
I had done a little bit when I was younger, and then my life took different paths. And I have a very good friend who's my hairdresser, been with him for a long time. And he encouraged me because of my hair color, that they were now more diverse in their casting with women of different ages, men of different ages, and he said, you should get out there. And I thought, oh, sure. No, I'm better behind the camera. And I listened to that for a while from him and a couple of other friends. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. So I have a group on a social media platform that is models, photographers, makeup artists. So I joined that group. And oftentimes they will make note of a shoot or a job they're doing or a project they're doing, and they look for different people to fill different positions. So I met a young woman who was doing a project with a group, a team, a creative team, and it was to put together an editorial, and it was for Vogue Italia. And it was the story they chose, the topic they chose was the story of age, which was really great.
Yeah.
So that was my very first experience. I worked with an amazing photographer by the name of Geneva Aduyam. Please forgive me if I've mispronounced. I worked with a 17-year-old girl, and it was a very challenging first experience because we were out in the valley of Los Angeles, and it was the hottest day of the year. I was wearing the hottest clothes. It was just brutal, and it was my first experience, but I gave it my all. And here was this beautiful, flawless, young 17-year-old who didn't have a bead of sweat on her, and I'm just a mess. So it was quite funny. And we got through the shoot, and I saw the pictures from the photographer, and I was mortified, devastated, because I hadn't seen myself on the other side of the camera in a long time. And my age was very apparent to me. And I was so devastated that I hid the photographs. I wouldn't share them with anybody. I wouldn't show them to anybody.
Why?
Because I was so adversely affected seeing myself. But 2 months later, I was out having dinner in a restaurant, and I got a text from the photographer. And she had sold the image, or had been asked to put the images in a magazine called The Impression. So it ended up in a magazine. But the most amazing thing was that she said one of the pictures of me, just solo, had made it into the top 500 Vogue Italia photos of the year on the digital platform.
Perfect.
And I was shocked.
Why?
I just couldn't believe it, because I thought, why would they want my photo? I just looked terrible. I thought I looked terrible. So I went back and I looked at that photo, and something changed for me. I saw something that I try to tell my clients. I saw that there was something about me that was really unique, and that instead of being afraid of it, I embraced it, and it changed everything for me. That one photograph changed everything for me. So I became more aggressive about trying to get more photos done, and I still found many of them difficult to look at, but I just got better and better at seeing how really great the potential was, and how to embrace that uniqueness of the joy lines in my face, the age spots on my face, the lower eyelids that I now have. It just all changed for me. And I'm so grateful to that photographer for really creating something that somebody else thought was special, which in turn gave me permission to see that about myself. Sometimes we need somebody else to kind of give us permission to feel that way about ourselves.
It was a very big opportunity and discovery for you. Our mindset about beauty, it's only for young people. And we never embrace our age and all the beauty that the age brings with it. And so our lines tell us a lot of histories, a lot of experience. And our hair is the same. The beauty when we are in the maturity is completely different. When we are younger, you don't think about the contents. When we become mature, we can appropriate of our real essence. This is the most important for me.
Yes, yes, yes.
You had an opportunity to discover your beauty in a different way. Now you know how you are beautiful, how you can inspire other women to embrace themselves, to embrace their beauty.
Thank you. I'm really grateful. I'm so shy in most moments of my life. So even speaking on this, I don't feel like I have any great advice to give anybody. I only know for me what has happened for me. And it's odd, because one of my favorite photographs I've ever taken was of a neighbor of mine who was an older German woman. And she was very classic German face, classic older woman hair. And I still stare at that photograph. She had great life features, lines and crinkled eyes and stuff. But that sparkle in her eye and her kind of she was just so proud and so authentic in front of my camera without even encouraging that from her. That's who she was. And it's one of my favorite photographs. So I love people's faces, but I didn't necessarily feel that way about my own. And now I am while I still have moments where I'm not so confident, I stand in front of, I have a practice of standing in front of the mirror and telling myself, hi, beautiful, you're beautiful. And it has worked for me because I go out the door and I feel that way, and it helps me. But when you're confronted with a photograph as you age, I was like so many women, I wanted to hide it. I just knew that I didn't want people to see that in me. But now I don't know, it's different. I don't know if I'm being told that I'm inspiring women. And if that's the case, I'm honored. I'm honored. But we all have that power. We just have to choose to make that decision. You know, we have to start to, women have to start encouraging each other to see the beauty in each other. A lot of times over the years, I've noticed women can be our worst enemies sometimes. It's not necessarily men, it can be with other women. And I think it's really important, those two young girls and the woman photographer and the woman hair and makeup artist, we were all empowering each other. And that is what made that moment so brilliant, because it was like a room full of cheerleaders in front of me while I was doing my shots, and vice versa. It was wonderful to have women standing there saying words like, you're a goddess, or, you know, it was amazing. And I would like to see more women do that for one another. I think it's really important.
You told beauty is many things, but it isn't what brings happiness. Happiness brings beauty.
It's so true, because I've seen many beautiful women be very unhappy. But I think if you can turn that around and make happiness primary, I prefer joy over anything else in life. Yes.
To finish here,
Yes.
what's it's beauty for you?
Beauty for me is many things. Currently, for me, hearing my grandsons tell me how much they love me. Having done this magazine, I sat in my bed the next day. I think I went to bed that night, the night the magazine cover came out, and I had 75 followers. I don't really pay attention to that stuff. It's not important to me. I have that page of my photos for my agency. From the moment the staff tagged me and the cover was unveiled till the next morning, I suddenly had 1,300 followers. And it wasn't that I had so many followers, it was some of the comments that were being made. And that moment was so beautiful for me, because it was women around the world feeling joy of being excited. And it wasn't because I was necessarily brave, which some people had said, but it had brought some sort of common ground between us that we could all celebrate. And that was beautiful to me. And it brought me to tears. And I sat in my room and I cried for quite some time. I think beauty is in finding common ground with one another and wrapping our arms around it. I think beauty is meeting someone like you. I think beauty is, oh gosh, I hope soon we'll be able to sit and have dinner with loved ones. That's beauty to me. But beauty is really what's inside and what you project out into the world. So hopefully it's constantly growing and evolving for all of us, and we're all empowered by it. And I feel very fortunate that I feel beautiful, even more so from this experience. And I'm really, I've been really changed by a lot of things in my life. And this is one more thing that has really touched me in a way that is really important to me, to my life's journey. And I really hope that everybody else finds things that happen in their lives that have similar impacts for them, because it's rewarding. It's really wonderful. And so, but I really think that I am receiving these things because I have chosen joy over most other emotions. I made a conscious choice for that. And it's in my nature anyway. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a stretch for me. So, but I am really consciously choosing it more and more every day. So that's beauty to me too. I do feel, for me, I'm on the right path. So I encourage all women. I especially encourage some of my personal women friends, you know, my experience. I try to share with them and try to give them my love and support. And I just hope we all get there, because it's great. I'm always evolving. I'm sure you feel the same way. I think it's what you're doing is so wonderful. And I wish I could do that, because I don't have the the wherewithal to sit down and do something like this. But I've always really loved seeing others do it. And to be doing this with you, that's beautiful. Thank you so, so much.
No, thank you so much. You touch me a lot